a shadow with glowing eyes appear in your window at 10:19 p.m., its red pulse shattering your reality? This emergency broadcast unveils a terror that knows your every move. Psychologically, it's shadow pareidolia, twisting your mind. And a 2025 study shows 72% flee such sites. A spectral entity watches. Subscribe now or face the unknown. Is a red pulse rippling from that shadow in your window? The hallway darkening? This broadcast drags you deeper into a psychological abyss where perceptual distortion warps reality. The 2025 study warns 72% sense an unnatural force. Could a spectral entity be closing in? Stay tuned. Did a faceless shape shift in that shadow? The candle flickering in your room? This emergency plunges you into a psychological trap where shadow pareidolia fuels terror. The 2025 study confirms 72% feel haunted. Could a spectral entity be forming? Don't miss the next part. Does it seize you, glare from that shadow? The attic creaking with dread? This broadcast locks you in a psychological cage where perceptual distortion heightens fear. The 2025 study notes 72% panic at such signs. Could a spectral entity be watching? Subscribe now. Is a faceless figure looming in that shadow, the fog thickening in your bath? This emergency thrusts you into a psychological vortex where shadow pareidolia distorts safety. The 2025 study warns 72% feel a ghostly presence. Could a spectral entity be near? Stay with us. Why does a warping shade hiss from that window, the stairs shaking beneath you? This broadcast drags you into a psychological nightmare where perceptual distortion fractures calm. The 2025 study reveals 72% feel pursued. Could a spectral entity be climbing? Keep watching. Did glowing eyes flash in that shadow? The wall cracking around you? This emergency locks you in a psychological abyss where shadow pareidolia amplifies dread. The 2025 study warns 72% sense a spectral stare. Could an entity be watching? Subscribe now. Does stay still pulse from that shadow? The rain pounding your door. This broadcast traps you in a psychological snare where perceptual distortion turns safety to panic. The 2025 study confirms 72% fear such commands. Could a spectral entity be trapping you? Don't miss it. Is a reaching form twisting in that shadow? The storm raging tonight? This emergency drags you into a psychological hell where shadow pareidolia turns hope to terror. The 2025 study warns 72% feel ensnared. Could a spectral entity be close? Stay tuned. Is a figure breaking from that shadow? The heater buzzing in your room? This broadcast locks you in a psychological cage where perceptual distortion shatters peace. The 2025 study notes 72% feel hunted. Could a spectral entity be free? Keep watching. Why does a towering shadow wail from that window? The garage silent tonight. This emergency thrusts you into a psychological vortex where shadow pareidolia consumes hope. The 2025 study warns 72% feel doomed. Could a spectral entity be winning? Subscribe for more. Is a growing form pulsing in that shadow? The floor creaking beneath you? This broadcast traps you in a psychological abyss where perceptual distortion ends stability. The 2025 study warns 72% feel their end. Could a spectral entity be rising? Don't stop now. Did a murmur ripple from that shadow, the cellar darkening around you? This emergency locks you in a psychological snare where shadow pareidolia heightens terror. The 2025 study warns 72% sense a spectral voice. Could an entity be calling? Stay with us. Is a cracking form in that shadow? The balcony shaking tonight? This broadcast drags you into a psychological hell where perceptual distortion shatters sanity. The 2025 study confirms 72% fear collapse. Could a spectral entity be breaking through? Subscribe now. Does shadow takes pulse with a towering form in that window? The abyss closing in? This emergency broadcast traps you in a psychological abyss where shadow pareidolia ends all. The 2025 study warns 72% feel their doom. Could a spectral entity claim you? Watch the full horror now.